Hey, this is Rick Kasalich, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I want to go through 5 phenomenal hip pain exercises for women. Now, Alex is going to go through them. I'll kind of talk about the details of the exercise, and Alex is going to start with the first exercise. Perfect. So what it is the 3-way hip flexor stretch. So how the setup works is you move into a 90-90 position. So the back leg looking at the hip, knee, and ankle, it's at 90. The foot's flat here. Looking at the front leg, the ankle, knee, and the hip are at 90. Then Alex is going to tighten up her abdominal area, bring her hips forward a little bit. She has her hands out front. She's going to hold that for a few seconds. Then she's going to move to one side, so roughly 45 degrees from straight ahead, or until she feels a little bit of a stretch. Then she's going to move to the other 45. Hold for a couple seconds, and then back to the start. Then she'll relax, and then she'll switch sides. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this exercise, the 3-way hip flexor stretch, sets are going to be 1. Repetitions would be, I would start off with 3. And what I mean by 3 is you're doing each of the positions once. So straight out front, to the right 45, and then to the left 45 would be 1 repetition. Time, you're holding each of the positions for about 5 seconds. The intensity for this one is light. You're looking for a light stretch in the hip, and that stretch should change as you move that arm position. And the purpose of this, we're really targeting at loosening up the hips, specifically the hip flexor, because a lot of times that hip flexor muscle is a common cause of hip pain in women. Now, moving on to the second exercise, exercise number 2. So it's supine hip abductor stretch. So how the setup works for this one is you're lying down on the floor, you're relaxed in the upper body, hands are to the side, then knees are bent, and then you're going to bring the knees out to the side and bring the bottoms of the feet together, and dropping the knees out to the side and looking for a light stretch in that hip area. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 2, time would be 20 seconds, so this is a static stretch, so holding this for 20 seconds. The intensity for this is a light stretch in that hip, inner thigh area. And then the purpose for this one is, once again, a lot of times with women and hip pain, it's related to tightness around that hip, so we want to loosen things up. We've loosened up the hip flexor, so the front of the hip with the exercise before. Now we're working more on the inner thigh and the rotators of the hip and loosening those up in order to help with hip pain. Okay, now moving on to the third one. So we're moving up off the mat. And it's forward and back leg swings. Now, how the setup is working for this one, you're standing nice and tall, hands up against the wall or something stable. Then you're going to put your weight onto one leg, and then you're going to swing the other leg forward and back. And you're swinging it forward and back to a point where you have a light stretch happening. So when you bring the leg forward, looking for a light stretch in the hamstring area. When you bring that leg back, you're looking for a light stretch in the front of the thigh area. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1. Repetitions would be 5 each way. Time, smooth, controlled movement. The intensity is light. We're looking for a light stretch. This is more of like a dynamic stretch. And intensity is light. And then the purpose for this one is twofold. The leg that you're standing on, we're working on strengthening the stabilizers of the hip. And then the other leg, we're working on dynamically stretching the muscles in the front of the hip and the back of the hip. because a lot of times with hip pain, there's tightness around that hip, and that tightness leads to hip pain or an increase in hip pain. Okay, we got 3 down, 2 more to go. Moving on to the 4th one. Perfect. So it's side-to-side leg swing. So it's very similar to the one before. Looking at the starting position, we're standing nice and upright, hands up against the wall or something stable, so that we can, that we don't need to worry about balance, and we can focus on doing the exercise correctly. Then you're going to stand on one leg, then the other leg you're going to bring across and then out to the side. So it's not exactly side to side. It's kind of at like an angle to an angle. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity. For this one, sets are 1. Repetitions would be 5 each way. Time, smooth, controlled movement. And the intensity is you're looking for light dynamic stretch. So how it's working is when you bring the leg out to the side, you're looking for a light stretch in the inner thigh area. When you bring the leg across, you're looking for light stretch in the glute and hamstring area. And the purpose for this one is to stretch those areas that I kind of mentioned, the glute hamstring area, inner thigh area, but more in a dynamic way, so dynamic stretch as opposed to a static stretch. 4 down, last one to go. Okay, good. So with this one, it's front and back lunges. And how this setup works, you're standing nice and upright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take a step forward. You're bringing that back knee down. You're trying to get to a point where you're at 90-90, ankle, knee, and hip in the front, and 90 when it comes to ankle, knee, and hip from behind. And then you back to the starting position, and then you're going to step back, bring that knee to the ground, and get back into that 90-90 position. Come back to the start, and then switch legs. And go for that forward lunge, and then into that back lunge. Perfect. Now looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity. For this one, sets are 1. Repetitions would be 5 each way, so forward and back. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the end position. The intensity for this one will be light to moderate, and the purpose of this one is more of a strengthening exercise around the hip. So the first 4, we kind of loosen things up when it came to muscles around the hip. Now we're really working on activating those important muscles around the hip in order to increase stability in the hip and help with overcoming knee pain. So there you go. Give those 5 exercises a go. They're excellent exercises to help with hip pain, especially in women. Now, if you're suffering from hip pain or hip tightness, what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tips and Tricks That Fight Hip Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/hips. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comments section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.